Hi, friends, and welcome to Oli Green. Today, we have with us a wildlife artist, illustrator, and graphic designer from Gurgaon, Delhi, Miss Richa Kedia. She has quit her corporate life and is currently pursuing her passions in art and nature full time. She's a chemical engineer, and also has done a 2 years part-time diploma from Delhi College of Arts and a 3 months diploma in graphic design from Australia. She has been freelancing from 2017 and has executed several illustration projects for reputed brands. She enjoys traveling, wildlife, nature, and literature. She also conducts outdoor nature journaling workshops for kids to ignite their love for nature. She's a person who loves to be with the nature. It's our honor to have Richa Kedia with us today. Welcome, Richa, to our channel.
Thanks, Abby. Thanks a lot for the welcome.
Okay. First of all, let's try and understand what actually prompted you, or rather motivated you to quit your comfortable corporate job and pursue your passion in arts, and at the same time having your focus on nature. We know that there'll be a lot of tough experiences to follow a passion like this, and because earlier you were in a very comfortable situation.
Right. My story is typically of, I think, a middle class family. Growing up in Delhi, you don't have much choice, as an art is never considered as a career, but art was always a passion for me. So while growing up as a kid, I think we all paint. I used to paint, I think, probably a lot because I was an introvert. So painting was my way of interacting with the world, or at least expressing myself, because I would hardly speak. But yeah, as in then that was never considered as a profession. So I became an engineer, without giving it much thought. But when I joined the corporate world, it always felt something was missing. Like, this is not what I'm supposed to do. However, as in I am coming from a whole background of service class people. So, quitting your job and doing something of your own is not, and especially something in art is unthinkable. So I pursued it over the weekends for a very long time. Like, so art and nature were my weekend activities whenever. Since forever, as in even with my corporate job. But yeah, finally, I think one fine day I did not want to restrain it just over the weekend. Then I finally quit, and I've been doing this since 2017 full time, and I haven't regretted a day since. But what
Okay.
prompted me, I don't know, it's like just mental conditioning over a period of time, because I think I always knew that that was not what I was meant to do, and this is what I was meant to do. Of course, I was also improving upon my art skills, which is anyhow a constant progress. So yeah, every day you're improving upon your skills.
True.
But yes.
Now, what were the difficulties or the hardships that you had to face? Quitting the job and getting into this, or was it a very smooth transition?
There are a lot of difficulties. Yeah, so a lot of difficulties, as in I'm coming from a middle class family. I don't have any background in art. Like, no one in my family is into art per se. I don't even know anyone into art. So when I quit, like, there was not even a single person who actually said that yes, you should do this, that you should quit a comfortable job and pursue art full time. So yes, lack of support is one thing. I had to find contacts and I was very sure that I wanted to do something in the wildlife and art and nature sector. So as in, I've actually picked up probably two complicated or two areas which are not known for commercial success. So one is art itself, and the other is or nature, which both of them are not considered as at least commercial areas. So but yeah, I mean, fortunately things did work out. But of course, as in, money is something which is obviously, it's not up to the level which I was earning in the corporate life. But yeah, so that's one challenge that you have to deal with, that how you go about earning. And I think that's one major deterrent which keeps people from pursuing this side also. However, as in, for me, that I have been lucky with projects. So as in, I keep getting one project after the other. So it's not been that ever since I quit, that I've ever had a time when I did not have a project ongoing.
Okay. I have seen in one of your earlier interviews that you've said birds are a constant source of inspiration for you. Can you explain in brief about birding and the patience required to be a bird watcher and to photograph them and the satisfaction that you derive from that?
Right. So yes, as in my love for nature, growing up in Delhi, I mean, was there at a very young age. But of course, as in the nature that we have around Delhi are in snippets. So that's where birds are very important because you see birds everywhere. You obviously may or may not get to see a tiger. I saw a tiger much later in life, like as in the wild. I won't consider seeing it in a zoo as sighting.
Okay.
But yeah, as in the wild, it's still an expensive trade. You have to go to a wildlife tiger sanctuary to see, and in many safaris you don't even see one. So, but birds are everywhere. You actually see them. I mean, in your day to day life, there is no way you cannot see them. I mean, of course, as in the species you like as a kid I couldn't identify the species. Now over time I have started identifying, and I'm fortunate enough that the place where I stay in Gurgaon, I see peacocks every day at my house, so they come
Oh,
and so that's where I think your fascination for birds start, because I've been seeing them for the past 20 years every day. But still, if I see it, it's not that not a single day passes when I still don't stare at it in this in pure awe that it's, I mean, how beautiful a creature can be. So, and there's still colors that I might have missed. Each time I see it, I see a different color, because the way lighting strikes, that's how you see, like, a different shade of color or different as in detail in its wings and feathers. It's just stunning. So yeah, as in that's probably the where the interest comes from. But then of course then I mean, you always like activity grows on you, so it requires a lot of patience if you are going out and seeing the birds in the wild, because there are many birds which are very shy. So you actually have to wait all day. There have been times when I've been to Satal and other places wherein you actually have to be on the lookout alone, uh, keeping quiet, because the bird it can be somewhere, and it may or may not come out. So, and it's a shy. Most of the wild birds are shy. So urban areas, of course, they used to human presence, but in the wild, you actually have to maintain your patience and yeah, keep on the watch out, and also be quiet. And yeah, so patience is always a big game, I think, whenever you're doing anything related to nature. Even tiger sighting is a very patience game. So it's like people sometimes go on a safari and they just get impatient that we're not seeing any tigers. So they can be that 6 safaris you don't see anything. So
but then I see a lot of pictures behind you. You click the photograph, then you draw based on that photograph, or you take it out from your mind after bird watching and do the drawing.
So it's a mix and match. So I have actually now I have also try and do is that I try and paint live on the spot. So as in I sketch on the spot. So I take my sketchbook along. Of course, as in that is limited to water birds. You mostly, because water birds you can see and they're there. Like, so you can see and sketch them. Yeah, like as in, so arboreal birds which are like just flitting around from one tree to another, it becomes difficult. So but yeah, as in I try and sketch at least like the birds which I see at my house, so peacocks and I mean pigeons, menas, etc., which are around, and then water birds, because if you go to a lake or any of those places, the birds are there to sketch. Then, of course, clicking pictures and then drawing them. So, clicking pictures, of course, we have the advantage that we have really good cameras now, so they can actually capture the details, which is not possible probably from even your human eye, unless you're seeing them very close, which is most of the time not the case. So, cameras can, of course, capture all the details. So, this one right now, I'm doing a project on vultures. So, I'm painting all the 9 species of vultures in the country. I have seen, I think, about 6 of them, but 3 of them I've not seen. But I'm yet painting it because it's a project. So the many birds I also end up painting, which I haven't seen, but that's the requirement of a project which I'm doing. I prefer seeing the bird in the wild and then painting it. So, like for instance, I wanted to see bustard, especially in the wild, and painted, and because I'm not even sure that how long bustard is going to be there. So I did make a trip specifically to Desert National Park just to spot the bird. So I saw it there and then came back and painted it.
Okay. You were also talking about in an earlier interview about being one with the nature and being showing a sense of responsibility to nature can help us mitigate a lot of issues like climate change, a lot of issues like that.
Right.
Can you throw a little more light on that?
Right. So, you climate change, zoonotic diseases, etc. These are all things which you can't really deny. I mean, of course, there are people who are living in denial, but yeah, it is changing at a rapid pace. And what scientists say is that we are headed for the, I think it's the fifth or the sixth mass extinction. Which I mean, yeah, like I mean, many of the creatures which we see around there, including humans, might soon perish. So it is for us to actually value nature. If you start valuing it, then we probably can delay this the extinction, which extinction is inevitable. The only time we can probably delay it by our actions. And I think valuing nature and at least seeing what it is there today, that like there's so many creatures which we might not see, or the next generation for sure will not see,
Correct.
like Great Indian Bustard, for instance, which was actually, I mean, at the time of independence, its population was such in large numbers, and today, yeah, we don't know whether it's going to live for another couple of years down the line or not. So it's for us to actually see and appreciate what it is, what is there today, because it will be gone tomorrow.
Okay. Your passion has actually led you to start a shop of your own, Richa Kedia, I believe.
Right.
The name itself is the brand. Okay. Can you tell us a little more about what are you trying to convey through your works, and what exactly are there on display, and how do you market it?
Yeah, so my endeavor through my art has always been that whatever, like, so there's so many beautiful stories in nature out there. It's very fascinating. Each day, I think, if you the time you spend in nature, you'll actually learn so much, and it helps. Like specifically, I think for kids, I spend a lot of time teaching kids to be with nature, observing nature. It increases their observation skills. It increases your questioning capability, your curiosity overall in life, which will affect so many other parameters of your life. So so nature is our best teacher, and everyone cannot, of course, afford original art. So hence, as in, I actually started this shop was to create merchandise, so mostly calendars, postcards, bookmarks, etc. So through all these merchandise, which are very affordable, I think, for most people, that you can actually learn about. I mean, I'll try and relate some of the other story which I found fascinating through these works, and also then appreciate them. So as in though, and I think I mean, I would actually love that everyone falls in love with nature all over again. Like in the cities, we've moved quite a bit away from it. Like the man is a part of nature. We're not supposed to move that far away. So my task, I mean, I would like to put it, is probably make man fall in love with nature once again, and whatever we love, we tend to protect. So that
Okay.
is again the aim of my show.
Okay. And that is the message that you try to convey through your works.
Right.
And how's the marketing part of it being done? How can a common man reach you for your works?
So the marketing part is mainly through word of mouth. That
Okay.
I think it's, yeah, social media, of course. So Instagram is where I put across mostly everything that I am adding, and yeah, I think it's word of mouth. The people I meet on the field. So and usually, yes, as in, if you see me, I think out in the wild somewhere, I'll be sketching. So I think that is generally a conversation starter, because you don't see that much. So yeah, as in I think anyone with a camera or a sketchbook, you attract attention, and then that's usually a conversation starter.
Okay. The details we will give in the description for others to follow. I mean, your Instagram handle and website. We'll give in the details of the video. There is one factor. I mean, that we have read initially when I read out your intro is the nature journaling for students. What exactly is that activity?
Yeah, so as I said, like I mean, I actually try and make kids curious about nature because the when you question things, it increases again their observation powers and their curiosity overall. So and nature journaling is a good way to capture that or put your observations on paper because mostly your memory is fed with so many things, specifically in the world today. You have YouTube and the Netflix of the world, etc., which is like flooded your brain cells so much. So just putting it down. So if you can draw, it's well and good. If you cannot draw, it's like at least just put across that today, this year, you saw this, and next year you never know that you may or may not see that because the like climate is changing at such a rapid pace that like the other day I was talking to someone, they said that in Ahmedabad this year there is fog. There's never been fog in Ahmedabad at all. So
Okay.
that's what like as so just these tiny observations which will probably it's like this year you just see it, next year you forget because your memory is that short. So just once you go back to your nature journal, you should be able to remember that, okay, this is what I saw. And of course, citizen science is a very important part of science today. So your small observations about nature can also help science in a way record it because you might actually end up observing something which is very unique, which no one has seen. Like, I mean, for instance, I'm actually, since the lockdown, I've been raising butterflies also. So butterflies
Okay.
are very unique because they, insects overall, they actually, they're the first ones to glean any change in the weather conditions, and they actually adapt themselves to the the ambient temperature, humidity, etc. So butterflies you will not see like in this cold weather, they don't come out. But in surprisingly in January this year, like one butterfly actually came out of the pupa, which is very surprising. So I mean I did record that in my nature journal. I mean I want to do that next year also. That I'm not sure that because I'm very sure that January is when they hibernate usually. So I'm not sure that how it actually emerged. So this is as in it's an aberration. So all those questions emerge. Is an aberration? Was there something wrong with this species or this particular butterfly or I mean, so many questions emerge, which obviously you don't find the answer immediately, but then you just note it down in your journal. So probably someday you might have an answer, or someone else might have an answer, or it will
Right.
help science overall because this is what science is. And I mean, I think probably this is how my background in science also helps because I think art and science is interrelated. Like you can't really, distinguish the two. Like Leonardo da Vinci, he was an artist and a scientist. So now we are trying to say that these are two separate lines or streams altogether. But I think that they're pretty interrelated.
Okay. I mean, what would you call yourself? A journalist or a wildlife artist? Or both are the
I
same?
basically say wildlife artist, but of course, as in my biggest muse, my inspiration is always nature. So yeah, if I'm cut across from nature, I mean, I think I will not be able to paint. But yeah, fortunately, I think
Okay.
nature is everywhere, and that's what like as in lockdown. Because I was not able to step out, like usually I'll go to a wildlife sanctuary or bird sanctuary or something else to explore more wildlife. But then yeah, in 2020 I couldn't go out, so that's when I have been concentrating on my own garden, so focusing on the smaller insects so that I mean I can probably take inspiration from them and
Okay. Okay. Now, if I ask you one small message, but I think you've been talking to the viewers in terms of what your message is, what you're trying to convey. But then, if a short message to our viewers, what will be that?
I like keep exploring nature. It has a lot to teach you. So you would, I mean, there'll always be something or the other which you find fascinating there.
Okay.
and follow your passion. I don't think that you'll regret it ever.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot, Richa, for joining us and spending time with us. It's been really valuable, or rather, a very insightful session for us. Thanks a lot for being with Only Green.
Thank you so much.